Peace, mercy, and blessings of God be upon you. The first thing that comes to our mind when we think of the story of the crown is the big white crown because of its fame and its frequent appearance in news, programs, and even on movie screens. But that doesn't mean that there are many other types of the crown fish. There are more than 375 different types of the crown fish. Some of them are stranger than you think. Welcome, I'm Youssef. But before we start, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and activate the bell so that you can receive our videos first. Among 9 types of the crown fish, the big white crown fish is the biggest of all. At the same time, it's one of the strangest types of the crown fish that you can see in your life. It's easy to recognize this type without any other type of the crown fish. That's because of its distinctive head shape that looks like the crown fish. Did you see the name of the crown fish? Because the head looks like the crown fish. The crown fish lives in warm and dry water in the Atlantic, Indian, and Indian Oceans. It migrates to calmer waters during the summer. Its head that looks like the letter T with an eye on each side gives them a very wide field of vision that can reach up to 360 degrees. It's a feature that's unique to a very limited group of creatures in the whole world. The sensory organs on this white head give them the ability to search the environment in search of food, which usually varies between fish, crustaceans, sharks, and octopus. But the most important prey for them is the stingray. It's known that it has a thorn at the end of its long tail. The stingray not only can discover them while they're hiding under the sand. No, it also has an immune system to their toxins. Even the way it catches them is very effective. First, it traps it with its huge head in the bottom of the sea, and then it uses its tusks to prevent it from moving. In the end, it feeds on it as much as it can. For humans, it's not a natural enemy, but if you provoke it in one way or another, it can attack any creature in front of it. The stingray is one of the strangest types of stingray. When you look at the top part of its head, you feel like you're looking at a skinned person to the point where you'll find a protruding spot above the eye. This protrusion is the reason for the name. The protruding spot above the eye is considered by scientists to be similar to a horn, and that's why it's called the stingray. Although I don't think it's a horn. This stingray is 1 meter long and can weigh up to 9 kilograms. Its swimming speed is closer to swimming in a pool, so it can swim by using its tusks. Due to its high sensitivity to light, it spends most of its life hiding in caves and cracks between rocks. Its diet depends on shrimp and sea cucumbers, but its favorite food is sea anemone. Due to the amount of this species of food, most of its members are characterized by their teeth being painted in the same color. One of the strangest information you can know about it is that this species of stingray, unlike most other stingrays, is closely related to its areas and rarely goes away from them. To the extent that one of these stingrays was captured, put a mark on it, and liberated again in its area, and they found it as it was in the same area after 11 years. Wobbegong is the common name for 12 types of stingray known as the carp. This carp name comes from the body of this species of stingrays and their way of swimming, which makes them look like a fish in the bottom of the ocean. As for the word wobbegong itself, it is a word originating from the indigenous Australians, which means the beak of the beard. This is because of the features that are found around the mouth of the fish and the sides of its head. This species of stingray lives mainly in shallow waters around Australia and Indonesia. It is always close to the bottom of the water, especially that its shape can move between sand and rocks. It has a strong beak and sharp teeth and feeds on all kinds of coral fish and sometimes stingray fish like it. Although it is generally known not to be exposed to humans, reality and records say otherwise. For example, in Australian records of stingray attacks, more than 50 incidents of wobbegong attack on humans were recorded without any provocation from the victims. In the international record of stingray attacks, 28 similar incidents were recorded. Although its teeth are very small, its sharpness with a strong beak makes its prey penetrate instead of swimmers. Some of them, such as the spotted wobbegong, are known to appear on the victim's back and not come down from it as if it were stuck. That is, if it was caught in the back of a swimmer, it would not come down from him no matter how hard he tried to float in the water. I mean, the morning of terror. Have you ever stood next to a large cow before? It looks scary, doesn't it? Imagine that its weight is about 500 kilograms. What would your reaction be if you stood next to an animal 10 times its size and more than 10 meters long? Especially that its shape does not move. However, appearances are sometimes deceitful. The spotted wobbegong is the biggest evidence of this. The spotted wobbegong is considered the second largest species of fish in the ocean at all and one of the strangest species of fish that you can see. He got his name from his habit of swimming close to the surface of the water and his apparent zeal that he has. With his very slow movement, you can feel that he is resting under the rays of the sun and sunbathing a little. He lives in fresh water almost all over the world. The most distinctive feature of the spotted wobbegong is its giant beak. When the spotted wobbegong opens its mouth, its width reaches a full meter. Of course, if you see this scene, you will watch and salute yourself. But the fact is that this species of wobbegong does not have a complete interest in eating anything except for fins and fish eggs. This wide beak includes groups of fins as much as they can. Despite the fact that humanity has hunted them in large quantities for a long time, this species of wobbegong has never shown any signs of fear or aggression towards humans. Compared to the size of his huge body, the spotted wobbegong has the smallest brain among all the species of wobbegong known to us. But despite his small brain, slow speed, and huge size, he can fully jump out of the water in a smart attempt to get rid of the parasites on his body. It is difficult for any creature to notice the existence of the wobbegong while hiding in the bottom of the water. This is not because of his small size, but because of his great skill in swimming. The world has 24 species of wobbegong fish, and it is possible to get confused between them and sea fish. The reason for this is the shape of their protruding bodies, but it is still easy to distinguish between them through some of the fins found on the wobbegong. This, of course, avoids them in swimming like most wobbegong, and that they move their body right and left. This species of wobbegong uses the method of hunting. It hides in the bottom of the ocean by burying itself in the sand, and then takes the opportunity to jump on the prey, whether it is a fish, a worm, or even a krill. Its way of swimming is very strange. It chooses a place to settle itself and starts to inflate its body several times until the sand starts to spread over it and cover its entire body except for its eyes, and then it settles down without any movement. Perhaps the strangest species of wobbegong ever, and the most rare, is the African wobbegong. This species is the only remaining of its family after the extinction of all its members. It lives in the ocean from the first surface of the water to a depth of 1,300 meters. But the chances of finding it are very limited, and from the moment it was scientifically described in the late 19th century until today, it has been observed a few times, and the prominent part of its face is full of sensory receptors that can detect the movement of the worms around it. Researchers believe that this species of wobbegong has a slow movement in the water and a weak eyesight, and instead of chasing the worm, it waits for it to pass in front of it. Here it does something like a stick that pulls its tongue out to meet the insects, but instead of this tongue, the beak itself comes out of its mouth at an incredible speed estimated at 3 meters per second to catch the prey that varies between fish, worms, and insects. That's it. And don't forget, if you have a suggestion for an episode, write it in the comments. Most of the things we do now are taken from your comments. Peace.